Hey guys, it's Chris again from the Ultimate Recycler, back on a Monday for our regular Monday marathon series where we process and save as much e-waste as we possibly can. This comes from the local charity shop. As usual, we've got a few lamps. For some reason, this charity shop, our local opportunity shop, or op shop as we call them in Australia, always gets lamps. And I'm happy with that because they're easy to fix. If they're not worth it, I will save some parts, but most of the time they either need a new shade or something minor, or even just a clean, and I can flip them pretty quickly, keep them in circulation. They don't go into the waste stream. We also have a kettle. We have a couple of things that I've bought to flip, which I like to try and do every week. And I was happy to see this. Just a little portable radio, CD, might even be a cassette as well. These things sell really well. They're always popular. The cassettes sometimes don't work. I've had issues with other parts of them. We sometimes get a repair video out of those. So we'll see how we go, but hopefully that just needs a clean up. So really only one box and a few extra things this week. Let's dive in and see what we got. Okay, the items I purchased to flip. This one's a large milk glass, probably 1960s mixing bowl for a Sunbeam Mixmaster. And it's even branded, this one, if we can get the reflection in the right spot. It's even branded Sunbeam, so it's a genuine Sunbeam one. I usually sell these for $20. They seem to sell quite well. Unfortunately, this one has a bit of a ding on the side there, a little bit of a fracture. Not sure if you can see that. It's had a bit of an impact on the top, but it's actually not rough. There's no chip, and it doesn't feel like it's going to fall out. I think actually that shouldn't really affect things. I paid $2 for it. I'm just going to ask $10 because of the floor on this one. But as I said, I usually get 20, so I'm always happy to find those Mixmaster bowls. The other things I bought, let's move some of this stuff out of the road, were some scarves. Now, for anyone not in Australia, probably won't mean a lot to you. This is Hawthorn Football Club scarf, the Hawks. These were obviously donated by a member, and there's a couple of local people I know in town who are Hawthorn supporters. So they're a Melbourne-based Australian football team. I myself was always a Hawthorn supporter. I guess I still am. I don't follow the footy so much anymore. But these were all donated, and they said $1 each. So they're different years, I think. There's, what's that, there's 4 of them. So I should have no troubles getting $10 each for these through the shop, especially now that it's got a bit cooler. Scarves are popular, but people wear them to the footy. They, I guess like most sports, people like to show their loyalty to their club, so always wear club colours. I'll get $10 each for these. Because of that such good margin to flip these, I said to the ladies at the charity shop, I'll give them a bit extra. I think this was like $6. I gave them 10. I'm still going to make pretty good money out of it. I usually try and give them a bit extra, and I certainly never haggle on their prices. So I think that's all I bought to flip. So let's pull some things out. We'll test some stuff. Perhaps we'll just go through the tub first and see exactly what we got, and then we'll fire up the appliance tester, see if we have to do any repairs, and see how much value we've got. So let's move these lamps out of the road. We'll get to them in due course. That one looks like a very modern lamp. All right, I'll put that aside. They're in good condition though. And the radio we've seen. The kettle, there should be a base somewhere, but the kettle looks pretty grimy. Oh, actually it's not an electric kettle, it's just a stovetop. And given that that's still a paper label on the bottom, it really hasn't had much use. It should clean up okay. What's going on with the lid? The lid won't come out. And the knob's loose. Goodness. Don't normally have to open a kettle with a screwdriver. Try not to mark it. Don't know why that's so tight. All right. Well, that is pretty clean inside. I don't know why it was so tight, but that's pretty good. I think that'll clean up fine. It's a whistling kettle, so it's not electrical. Perhaps the ladies were confused when they put this in my pile, but a bit of a clean up. I'll just make sure that lid fits better. I should be able to get $10 for that, so that's all right. Non-electrical. But hey, we can still sell it. All right, what is in this box? We have an appliance here. What's this? It's obviously got some more parts for us. Oh, it's a juicer. It's like a citrus juicer. I've had one of these before. The last one I had, I think, I started with $10 on it, went down to $5, didn't sell. I dropped it to free, and then a lady came in and gave me $5 for it anyway. So that's not that encouraging. This is an older one made in Hong Kong. It's probably Goldie. It's probably 1970s or so. I guess we'll test if it works, because if it doesn't work, we'll just scrap it straight away. And perhaps if it does work, we'll just start with $5 on that. There is I thought it was a drill. No, is it an air compressor? Air Dragon. I guess it's for just blowing out your bicycle tyres or your basketball or something like that. I guess the cord just goes into there and some fittings. So it's an imitation. I think it's made to look like a cordless drill. So we'll plug that in and see if it works. But it's clearly just an air compressor. And it probably, yeah, it's 12 volt supply, but the plug's broken. So it's probably not worth the effort. I guess we can still hook 12 volts up to it and see if the thing works. Might be worth fixing the plug if we can. A little LED light here, I guess. USB power. Yeah. So little desk lamp. That should work. We'll check that. Might get $5 for it. What's this? A clock radio? A Bluetooth speaker? Oh, the buttons have been pushed in. It's, yeah, a Bluetooth speaker. But I'm not sure what's going on with that. Someone's been a bit aggressive. It looks like the case has been open. So I'll have to investigate that one. Probably not going to be a saleable item, given that it seems to be damaged. An old power board. Well, I automatically scrapped these old ones. This has got the sleeves on the pins, so it's within the last 20 years, but they're still only like $3 to buy brand new. I'm better off getting some value from the cord and the brass in the power board. So we'll just scrap that one. We have a little power pack here that probably goes with maybe the Bluetooth speaker. And this looks like a kettle, but it's not. It's a, what is it? Like a soup heat? I don't think this is electric either. InZone. I think it's just like a giant insulated mug, like for soup or something, but it's not electrical. Alright, well that might go in our free box. I really don't feel like cleaning it up and trying to get $5 for it. Bubba. I will check the brand just in case they're very expensive to buy, but I would be surprised. So there you go, not electrical either. These look like tent pegs and a little guy rope. Well, that's for your electric tent, surely. I do often get tent pegs and I'll throw them in the shop. Sometimes I'll put $5 on a box full and the campers grab them as spares. I'm not going to try for a couple of dollars. I might just put them in the free box. A little bit of plastic and a short length of household wiring. So that's all right. That'll go in our insulated electric wire bin. So there we go. Not huge amounts of value. A few things to test. A few things that are a bit sus, as in they've been tampered with or they're broken. Some lamps, and that radio is probably the best thing. And a power board to scrap. Okay, I've been getting a few things cleaned up. I've checked out a few things. The kettle polished up quite nicely, and I tightened the knob, and the lid fits much better. It's still a bit firm, but the little crimps I just flattened out with a hammer so that it's not quite as tight. And as long as it's square, and it pushes in okay. So I think we'll get $10 for that. This one I think is just a very large water bottle. I found the company online. I couldn't find any of these large size ones. This is a 1.5 litre, but I found some of their normal drink bottles, and they weren't cheap. They were quite expensive. So I think this really is just an extra large water bottle, like a keg. And I couldn't find this exact one, but I think that'd be fairly dear. I'm going to just put $5 on it. Someone should be happy with that. This lamp over here, I didn't show you, but the shade had kind of opened up at the seam and it was sort of bulging out. So I've just glued it with a piece of wood clamped on the inside and the outside. So that will be fine. I can't see anything else wrong with the lamp. So we can actually probably test it while it's in this current state. Let's get this tape off the cord. And we'll plug it into the appliance tester. It's got a globe in it, I'm assuming it's okay. And it's got a little pull string rather than a switch. Okay, maybe the globe isn't alright. Oh, it's loose. Oh, it's a screw-in one and it was just not screwed in properly. And I think the clamp needs to be done up a bit tighter on the shade. Okay, so how do we go there? That works alright. Shade's got a couple of little creases on it, but with the side glued it will be pretty good. So that looks alright. I think it's probably just a cheap one. Maybe it's an Anko brand or something. I can't make out what brand it is, but that doesn't matter. We should get $10 for that. We'll leave that for the glue to set overnight and that'll be right to go. This big lamp I think is probably an IKEA one. It's got a brand somewhere. Wooden table lamp. M Living. Well, it's not an IKEA, but it's a very modern lamp. Let's unwrap the cord. It looks in excellent condition, this one. It doesn't really look like it's far from new, although just looking at the shade, oh, it's loose. But also, it does have a bit of an issue, which we might have to hit with the glue as well. So, this support here has come away from the shade. They're basically just glued anyway, so I think I'll glue that one overnight. The shade itself looks as new, and the lamp looks fine. I'll have to find a globe for this one. I might as well put the shade back on it. There we go, that's a bit more stable. Let's find a globe. This one is a small Edison screw. So we'll give this one some power. And that one works fine. And yeah, that pretty well looks like a new lamp. So I'll just glue this spot where the support comes up and we're good to go. Tests out fine. Let's check out this citrus juicer now. And make sure the cord's okay. It's got a few marks on it. But I think this is a much older model. You can tell by the plug it's no insulation on the pins. It's the older style, probably even back to the 70s. Okay, now you have to push these down for them to work, I think. There we go. Oh, that feels plenty of torque. That one is going to work fine. It's actually got, looks like breadcrumbs in it. I don't know where they come from. You can't juice bread, I don't think. A little dirty. We'll clean that up. But I think we'll try and get $5 for this. It certainly looks okay and appears to work fine. Let's give this stereo a go. It's quite dirty, but doesn't appear to be damaged. It has the cord with it. Oh, I guess we'll check the battery compartment first. I don't want it to be full of corrosion. Usually don't have batteries in them. No, that one's fine. Doesn't look like there's ever been any in there. Most people don't use them in a portable capacity, so they can just be plugged into a power point all the time. Batteries are pretty expensive to buy for these things. Okay, we'll get some power to this thing that's already going. So that's the radio. Antenna's good on this one, which is good. The last one we had, the antenna was broken, I think. That's on AM. Sounds like it's going to work fine. Again, I mention every time we have a lot of interference in this shed from the ring light and other switch mode power supplies. They're very noisy. So I'm sure that radio works okay. More important is the CD and cassette, because that will determine how much we can get for it. So let's go to CD. Okay, it's a little dusty in there, but hopefully it's going to work. We'll find one to play. Okay, we have Stuart's Music for Dancing. I think I tried this one other time and I don't think anyone liked it, but hey, that doesn't matter. We're just testing. All right, let's see if that goes. I think I heard it spinning up. We've got some red flashing lights here. Geez, that's dirty, that display. You can barely see through it. So I think it's trying to read the disc. Okay, it says 0. Let's play. It's not working. Quick search. Nothing's working. It's spinning up the disc, but it's not reading any tracks. So the laser might be dirty, might be more involved. Oh, it just found 20 tracks. Okay, so it does work, it's just a bit intermittent. Let's see if it plays. Well, it works, but the speakers have got some static in them, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, I think the static is just from the volume. It's a bit noisy. We can hear it there. All right, so that seems to work. I think we might just have to clean the laser lens. It's probably why it had trouble reading the tracks in the first place. But I think that works. We'll just give it a clean up. Now, will the cassette go? Where's our eject button? Stop eject. That looks pretty dirty in there too, actually. Do we have any movement on the spools? Try play. Oh yeah, the pinch roll is moving. But the spools aren't. So it might have broken a belt. The belts just perish on these, especially when they're not used. What about fast forward? Alright, we've got no action on the spools. So I'm sure a belt must be broken. Is it worth fixing? Well, it's not a particularly well-known brand. It's Avanti. I would imagine a fairly cheap unit. It does need a really good clean up, but it probably would clean okay. Cosmetically, I can't see any damage. Maybe we should pull it apart and do a repair video on it. Be nice to have a cassette player that works. I get customers ask for them all the time. Might just do a bit of checking to see if it's worth, I mean, I don't expect it's going to be worth a lot, but we might do a quick check on it and see, and if we do a repair, it won't be in this video, so we might leave this one float for now. Now we have another lamp to test. This one's the simplest of lamps, just a wire cage around the globe. I guess this is where you put your aggressive, untamed globes so they can't wreak havoc in your house. Oh, that's nice. Very good. So that works fine. We have a switch in line. I quite like that globe. Alright, so I'd sure get $10 for that lamp. Just needs a bit of a clean up. Very good. The last few things to deal with now that I've cleaned off the bench a bit. The little charger here doesn't suit anything we got in this week's haul. It's a 5-volt power supply, and it has an angled plug, and I'm pleased to see that because I have something, I can't remember, but I have something at the shop that I've got out of Ewaste that works fine, except the straight plug won't actually fit, and I need an angled plug due to the nature of where the socket is. So that hopefully will make something else saleable. No value for that as far as this episode goes, but it certainly won't be thrown out. This little USB powered LED light, we'll just untangle the cord and we'll give that a check. It's not going to be worth a great deal. If it works perfectly, we might just see if we can get 5 for it. It may have even sold new for something like that. I've got just a USB power supply here, so we'll plug that in and see if it lights up. Does it have a... Oh, it is going. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. It's different colours. So maybe it's not really a lamp as such then. Maybe it's just mood lighting. Interesting. It does work. Not really sure what to call it, but it goes. There's no controls, there's no switch, it's just on. and it works. So we'll try and get $5 for it. I don't really know what, there's even got a little LED light in the back here. Perhaps it's just mood lighting of some sort. Not sure. We'll try and get 5 for it anyway. It does work. I've got heaps of these little power packs at the shop. I'll include one of those with it. All right, the power board here we're going to scrap. So I'll just chop the cord off. And I will put those with some other power boards that I'm going to scrap and do a video on very soon because they're getting in my road. So we have the plug can go to Ewaste and the cord can go with my insulated electric wire. That leaves these two broken things. Now I did have a look at the shop for a 9 volt 1.5 amp power supply. I didn't actually have one. I had a lot of 9 volt ones, but not as high as 1.5 amp. Draws a fair bit of current, but we can't obviously sell it like that. Let's open it up and see what's going on, see if it's actually worth finding a power supply for. And I guess we can test it while we've got it open. Right, we'll put a towel down so we don't scratch it up on the bench. It looks like the back cover just clips on, unless it's got some screws under here. It does have. Probably not under the front ones. I assume it just holds the back cover on. No, there's no screws under the front. I wonder if someone tried to get it apart and didn't realise there were screws under here. And maybe they gave up. I don't know. I don't know why the buttons are pushed in. Whether someone did that trying to get it apart, or whether that happened and then they tried to get the back off to see if they could fix it. But someone certainly tried to get into it. Now with that screws removed, we can. Okay, it doesn't appear to be damaged. It's got a rechargeable battery in there. So the switches look okay. But for some reason the actual switch buttons themselves, oh, they're broken. The plastic housing that holds the switches are broken. Let's unplug this. And has someone pushed them too hard? But it's broken the spring. It's only a plastic spring, but I wonder if that will still work if we get them back in position. Don't really know why they pushed through so far, because the switches should stop them unless that whole board flexes a lot. But certainly the little plastic spring mounts on these are broken. So it probably isn't going to be something we can fix easy and sell. It's probably not worth very much anyway. Okay, it's not going to work. There's too much flex in the board. The switches won't line up properly with the, or the buttons won't line up properly with the actual tactile switches. And even if we get it lined up, when you push them in, the board flexes and then things fall out of alignment. So that's not going to be operational. So I kind of get it lined up and then they just fall in. So that's not going to work. It's not worth trying to source a part for it. I doubt we will be able to. It looks like they're actually been attached by just melting the plastic housing over where they slip in. So that's just not worth the effort. As a cheap Home & Co Bluetooth speaker, it's probably, we would struggle to get $5 for it anyway. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to pull the board out. Pull these plugs back off. The board can go in our mid-grade boards. It's not worth much, but we might as well get some value out of it. Alright, so one little mid-grade board. We have the battery pack that's glued in. I sometimes try and save these batteries because you can disassemble them and use them in other things that have dead batteries, but that's not going to come out. That's glued in to be permanently fixed to the case. The speakers have fairly large magnets, but they're only tiny speakers. A little bit of wire. I guess we'll clip the wire out one wire at a time across the speaker so that we don't short it out. There could be some charge in that. I don't want to blow a little hole in my cutters. A little bit of wire. I'm just going to send that to e-waste now. There is not enough value in there for me to attempt to try and fix anything. So we get a little bit of hardware. I will keep the other feet, stick-on feet, because quite often you get an appliance that has little stick-on feet and the feet go missing. So I just keep a few here in a little drawer, because every now and again I need one just to put back on something to stop it wobbling. It's not something I sell, but I just keep a few here, different sizes, just to get me out of trouble in the future. We do have a little bit of hardware, so not much return out of this, but we got something. And now time to test this little air compressor, masquerading as a drill. Because I actually don't have another one of these 12-volt cigarette lighter plugs handy, and I need one for that 12-volt supply because that has the socket for it, it was easier just to grab a battery. I had a battery in the shed that's still got pretty good power in it, so I've just got some leads here. Positive goes to the middle. Let's see if the thing works. We have nothing. Nothing at all. I guess I better check that there is 12 volts in this battery. Okay, do we have life? There's almost 12.3 volts. We should get some action out of this thing unless it's got another fault. So let's try that again. I don't think there's a fuse in here. Sometimes these sockets do have fuses in them, but this one appears to be just straight through, no fuse. Alright, why don't we have any action? There's a lock button, I guess that's to keep it on. It's got a light as well. So we've got no power coming through. Alright, oh hang on, what have we got on the back? We have no power getting into here at all. Let's see if we have power at this plug, just to rule out a break in the actual cable. I'm not sure which way is positive and negative. It won't matter for the purposes of this test. Yep, it says negative 12.3, so our cable's okay. But we have no life getting into the actual unit here. There's no life on the top here. There's no action from the compressor or the little pump. The wiring goes straight in. Alright, it's obviously got other issues as well as the plug. Given that it's so scuffed, it probably would have been a cheapie. It's obviously been around for a while. I don't feel like pulling it apart and trying to find a fault in here as well as repair the socket. It's just going to suddenly become way too much work. So I think we'll just send that straight to Ewaste. At least I'll get a fair hunk of wire out of it, so we get a bit of a return here. And I didn't have a plug available anyway, although they turn up fairly often. I might keep that little piece though. I've had a plug where that's broken out and gone missing before, so that will be worth hanging on to. Maybe I'll just put the entire plug assembly, what's left of it, into a parts box for these things. It's really only lost the end. It's not actually broken. So, and the end probably had the fuse in it. Okay, I'll hang on to that then. I'll chop the wire off and this can just go to e-waste. Don't have the time to get into that one now. And now I'll look at this week's effort on the deck. We have quite a lot of stuff to sell, including some non-electrical items. The radio, I'm not going to write down anything for, but as it is, I could put it in the shop for $10 just as a shed radio, even though the CD works. But I think I might do a video on that. I like to try and get those things back into full operation. The lamps, well, the lamps sell well. Always enjoy getting lamps. So 3 lamps there. Only 1 kitchen appliance. We'll see how we go with that one. We have some pretty good stuff to flip here. So what was that, $10 spent? Even though they only charged me 6, so I spent 10, and we'll get 50 back. So that's a pretty good flip. A little bit of useful stuff, some wire which will go in my wire bins. We'll scrap that power board out soon. A board, some hardware, and a little charger I'm happy with. Only those 2 items for e-waste. So yeah, another successful week picking up from the charity shop. Time now to check out the notepad, and we have a potential return from our e-waste of $55, even though the first couple of items weren't actually electrical. The items to flip, $50 return, so potentially $105, plus a few bits and pieces, a little bit of hardware, a little bit of wire, and also that little 5-volt charger, which will be handy. So the previous week, I have sold the electric lunchbox, I've sold the electric clippers, the clock radio, and we actually sold a storage jar that I said I was just going to use, and I ended up putting $5 on it in the shop, and it sold the first day. So that was a freebie, that jar. So a bit of a reasonable return there from the first week. Let's go back and look at part 22. Not much more gone from this list, although we did sell the memory jar, and that was a free one as well. So it was a weekend for jars just gone. Part 21 had already been ruled off last week, but the clock, the nice modern old style mantle clock, we did get our $30 for that as well. I just skipped over part 20 because that had been ruled off, and part 19 we can now rule off as well. The frozen treat maker went for free, and so did the ice cream maker. I was happy to give those away. So everything's gone there. Still a couple of these items in stock, but that's fine. So we can rule part 19 off. And all previous weeks have been ruled off, so this series is going very well. Now, a point of interest about last week, I forgot to mention when we were looking at the notepad, the Nintendo Wii parts I put on eBay. I started them at $20. They had a bid almost straight away. They've got a second bid, I think it's at $21.50 or something. So that's currently on eBay as an auction. And after some assistance from you guys, and this is why I like you guys commenting, a few people mentioned the box. Don't put it in the recycle bin. People collect or, chase the boxes. Someone, I think Graham, called them a completist, which is an interesting title. So someone that collects something obviously wants the box, the packaging, all the paperwork. These things were quite expensive. I did a bit of a check online, and Nas did point out that a few sold internationally. He's in Canada, and I think it was JJ's Library and Graham. They mentioned that these things can sell. So I dragged it out of the recycle bin. Luckily, I hadn't torn it up or jumped on it. I reassembled the box, took some photos, put all the packaging back in it and a few loose leaf bits of paper for various things, put it on eBay for $20. It got a bid the first day, so I don't know how high that's going to go. Postage is going to be an issue because it's a fairly large box. Hopefully someone comes to pick it up. But thanks for your help, guys. We've not only made some money out of the stuff that we sold, as in complete electrical items, we're making money out of the packaging. So who would have thought? Okay, thanks for watching. I'm enjoying this series. YouTube seems to be enjoying it. You guys seem to be enjoying it. So we'll keep going with it. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.